All right, day 7 of your number corner. Today we're going to go over the calendar grid and update where Mumford Mole's second feeding area is. And we're going to do another problem string. Our 30th problem string in number corner, our 2,487,000th number corner overall for 5th grade. Anyway, let's get on to the number corner marker, and let's take a look at what we have to do here. So from your nest, you're going to go north 1 and northwest 1. So go ahead and mark that on your grid, plot the coordinates down on your paper, and come back to us when you are ready. Okay, for our problem string today, we're going to divide by fractions. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, we multiplied fractions. Now we're going to divide fractions. So you're going to have to do a little imagination, okay? And you're going to have to use that imagination to kind of help us figure this out, okay? So if we're going to divide 1 by 1/8, so think about you have an eighth, or you have, a whole pan of cookies, or a whole pan of brownies, right? They're not cut yet. And it says if we want to divide them into eighths, how many pieces would we have, right? So that's pretty easy, right? I'm going to divide 1 pan of brownies into eighths, and they're wondering how many eighths we would have, right? So what do you think the answer is? Right, it's 8, right? And I'm noticing, right, I have 1 pan of brownies, and there are 8 eighths in a whole. So that should equal 8 pieces, right? So now let's take a look at this next one. It says 2 divided by 1/8. So same sort of problem. You now have 2 pans of brownies, and you are dividing them each into 8 pieces. How many total pieces would you have, right? 2 divided by 1/8. Again, we have 2 pans of brownies. Oops, I hit Alt. We have 2 pans of brownies, and we're cutting each of those pans of brownies into 8 pieces, and that gives us 16 lines, or 16 pieces, or 16 brownies. Now you might be asking yourself, well, wait, Mr. Keller, you're multiplying here, and it says to divide. When we never like to divide fractions, we always like to multiply. And when you multiply, you take the reciprocal of the second number, which, remember when we did this in a past lesson, you are taking the 8 and then you are putting it on top. And you're taking the 1 and you're putting it as the denominator. So the 8's the numerator, the 1 is the denominator, and then you're going to multiply instead of divide. That gives you the answer, right? It's the same thing. We have 2 times then 8 wholes, which is what this problem is. All right, so let's take a look at our next problem string, or our next problem in our problem string. What do you think it is? It's 2 divided by 1/4. So think of those 2 pans of brownies. We haven't cut them yet, and we need to cut them into fourths. So how many fourths would we have? Well, in your mind, you have to say, well, how many fourths equal a whole, right? So that's 4. So I would go 2 pans of brownies times the 4 pieces, and I would get 8 pieces. Now the next one. Now we have 4 pans of brownies, and we are going to cut those into fourths. So how many fourths would we have? Again, if we follow the same pattern we've been following above, we have the 4 pans of brownies, and each pan has 4 pieces in it, and that would give us 16 total pieces. Good job. All right. Now we're going to deal with fifths. If we have 3 pans of brownies and we're cutting them into fifths, how many fifths are in a whole? 5, right? So I'm going to take those 3 pans, multiply it by 5, and you get 15. All right, let's see if you can try to finish the last 3 on your own. Start the video when you are done. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you've finished the last 3 problems in our problem string. This one says, the next one is 6 divided by 1/5. So how are we going to figure this out? Well, I do know that 3 is double, or 6 is double 3. So I can go 6 times 5. I'm going to look at maybe, hopefully, having double my answer. And look at that. What do you know? All right, for our next problem, we have 9 divided by 1/5. So if I divide 9 pans of brownies into fifths, that gives me 5 pieces. Right, 9 times 5 is 45, or I see that 9 is 3 times 3. So this answer obviously has to be 3 times. So 3 times 15 is 45. So that works out. All right, so one that doesn't even fit our pattern. What did you get for this answer? It's 3 divided by 1/10. So think of how many tenths are in a whole, and then multiply that by the 3 brownies. So I have 3 pans of brownies. So I have my 3 pans of brownies, and I have 10 pieces in each. So I have 30. Oh, 30. All right. Did you get that for an answer? Awesome. Hey, that's about it for today. Don't forget to continue to map out Mumford Moles um, nests, and uh, and you're done for the day. If you have any questions with any of this, please reach out to your teachers. If not, have a great day and enjoy math.